Hi, Olivier.
Hi, Carmen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very good. Ready to go?
Ready to go?
Yes.
So, Olivier, you're a French Michelin star chef.
Quite.
It's very difficult to say. French Michelin star chef.
Yes.
Okay.
We have such a strong
Say it fast.
French Michelin star chef. Yes.
To be more precise, you have 27 Michelin stars.
Quite.
More than Gordon Ramsay, right?
Yes. I will tell you about that later. That is secret.
But still, that's pretty impressive. And you've worked with French Michelin star chef.
Quite. Jean Michel, Pierre
Caviar,
and a lot of others.
You've been living in Hong Kong for 16 years.
Quite.
But you're not that old.
No.
You've worked
I'm
at...
25.
Same as me.
Yes. Perfect.
No.
Yes.
You've worked at and managed at many different restaurants in Hong Kong.
Correct.
You started the first restaurant you co-founded was Seasons.
Quite.
And then later you joined L'Envol, where we are now. It's at St. Regis Hotel in
Correct.
Hong Kong, a 5-star hotel.
Yes.
And 2.5 years ago, you founded Clarence,
Yep.
where we're supposed to record, but actually we're here.
Quite.
Even better.
Surprise.
Yes,
Yes.
surprise.
The light was better here, so I thought so. It's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the view
Very
is nice.
bright.
And Clarence is a French cuisine restaurant.
Quite.
You also founded, I'm just saying everything you did so people know who you are.
Sure.
You also founded O Chef Lab, right?
Yes. Yeah, quite.
It's a food factory business for F&B professionals.
Yes.
And in total, you own 2 restaurants in Hong Kong, 3 overseas,
Quite.
and you work also in Macau and other nearby countries.
Quite. Taipei.
I've learned my lesson well, see?
Yes, you're well equipped. You know everything.
I just have a first quick question.
Yes.
How many hours do you sleep every night?
I think 6 to 8 hours. I always like
I
to
was
use...
expecting less than that.
No, I think I need my sleep. And, I like to make an analogy very simple because he's one of my, not mentor, but I'm fascinated by him, which is Elon Musk, because he's a great achiever. And if he managed to sleep 6 to 8 hours, because he does, I think I can manage to do that as well.
I think maybe if we remove the political aspect of that person.
Quite. Yeah.
Yes.
No, but
especially now.
Yeah. No, but look, he's running Tesla, he's running SpaceX, Boring company for Los Angeles to fix the traffic. He has Starlink, so it's huge progress.
Impressive.
Yeah, it's huge accomplishment there.
So when we first chatted, you told me that many French chefs, after they get stars, they try the bistro experience, and this is not what you wanted to do.
Yep.
You wanted to quote what you said, to build an empire. I like that.
Yeah.
And to try different things.
Yep.
So what are you after? And are you trying to prove something to yourself, or what does that come from?
I think, look, everything comes from the roots, the roots of who you are. I'm born in Germany, raised up in France. My father passed away very early, in my early time. I don't know if it's because I want to prove him anything, but has to maybe to do something with that. But I think ultimately, I'm very happy in my life now. I have a baby boy who is 2 years old. I think I learned, my chef life teach me a lot as a chef in different aspects and layers, but actually teach me a lot as a man as well. You need to make mistakes. You need to be going to a process of feelings and accomplishments. And I think as a man, we are we're chasing dream, we're chasing, some recognition, we're chasing ego. And I think I'm this point of life where I feel good about it, where I achieve what I achieve. I can have so much more to do, but in a very more peaceful way, where I'm in peace with my ego, where you need ego. Okay. You need ego for sure, because ego wakes you up in the morning. But I think you need to tune it down to the point that it doesn't take over, and you don't have to feel it so much that you have to, just get greed and ego on every single day. Michelin stars is one aspect of it. For example, I love to have all my Michelin stars, but at the end of the day, I'm now in I would say in the mindset of giving to others, my chef with who I work with, where they need to build their own legacy. And even if I'm still young with the business, I believe that I still have a lot to give, but in different aspects. And this is one point.
It's another stage of your life now.
Right.
You're not like early 20,
Right.
looking for
Yes.
success and stars and
But what is very funny is that actually I'm almost at the same place that I was 20 years ago, but in a different aspect. So let me explain you. When I started as a chef at 14 years old, I was a sponge, and you need to be a sponge. You work 15, 16, 17 hours a day because this is what used to be cooking before. You work for the craziest chef.
It's changed?
Yeah, I think we have better quality life now. I think social media, the communication is way better where when you do that, you kind of expose. And I think somehow, I can't say it was bad because it makes me who I am now. And I'm proud to be like that. And I think the reverse side is sometimes, unfortunately, in this world, we're thinking that if you want to achieve something, it's easy, but it's not in any case. But I think for me, it's clear that there's a path of evolving of me where I am a chef for 26, 27 years now, but I'm a baby entrepreneur where I start again, where I have my second life again since 2 years, because this is where something strikes in my life where I become more an entrepreneur than a chef. And I'm very happy to just go back to the root of starting from scratch again and almost having a second life where, hey, you know what, you're not good at doing business, you need to learn about it. Hey, put your nose down and just like a sponge, go back to what you did at the first place.
I like that, the real entrepreneur's mindset.
Yep.
Just before continuing, I have a few quick questions for you.
Yep.
So, what's the best dish you've ever eaten?
I think it's very hard. It's hard
like a memory,
I think it's hard to say, but I have to say that the tomato mozzarella of my mom is my favorite one.
Yeah.
Because,
I knew this would be related to family somehow.
Yeah. Well, look, I think this is what we try to do as a chef, I always explain to my team, I say, don't cook food to feed people. Try to cook food to bring emotions and to be a messenger of emotion for a couple of time for the time being. And I think this, for me, when you strike that, is almost like it's almost like an orgasm,
Yes,
it's kind of like
I had once.
Yes, yeah.
What's the one ingredient you're crazy about?
I think I love citrus, the citrus family.
Okay.
I think I'm cooking French. I will speak a bit later about what I'm trying to do as a French chef and entrepreneur. But I think one choice I make a long time ago as a chef is to respecting the authenticity of French food.
Okay.
But I have my orientation with spices and citruses.
Okay.
And I think for me, in Asia, Asian in general has some issues, especially the older generation with dairy, where cream, butter, milk is too heavy for them. And I think playing with spices and citruses, with the skin of so many citruses you have in Philippines, in here in Japan, it's just outstanding. It's beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
It's beautiful.
And what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? Maybe in Japan?
Well, I think I keep this in China, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I think those clock ones, or those scorpio cooked on the barbecue. It tastes like chili. That's like nuts, quite nuts.
And, well, you kind of answered my last question, but it was, what dish brings you to your childhood?
Yeah, I think it's it's definitely my mom, tomato mozzarella. I think I definitely like it. But there's a couple of some, my mom do a chicken breast, quick cream sauce with some mashed potato, which is also very yummy. I think in France we have this old tradition of having roast chicken on Sunday on the table. I think I like this moment. And actually I even like another moment which I used to hate, which is a lamb leg, a gigot d'agneau with some flageolets. So flageolets, those green beans, which are a bit boring. I used to hate them, but I think I will put a couple of Hong Kong dollars to get that again for my mom with a nice lamb juice. Overcooked, but so yummy.
Yeah. So we chatted about a little bit about this earlier, but I'm under the impression that in Hong Kong, fine dining restaurants can be a little bit, how can I put that in a polite way?
Just go for it. No polite way needed.
By adding caviar and truffle on many dishes to making it fancy, I don't think this is fancy food. I don't think this is fine dining. Are you under the same impression?
No, so first of all, thank you very much to ask me this question, and that I could answer live. Okay, let me get back a bit about the mindset and also the product. Okay, caviar 20 years ago was wild, and basically they realized that caviar, the production of caviar wild, was so getting lower and lower that the species was ending, that they decided actually to say, look, we need to farm caviar now, and it's not feasible to have caviar wild anymore. So it's impossible to find Iranian or Russian caviar, which is wild. So you have 20, 25 years ago, a lot of farms are open all over the world, and basically you can have caviar everywhere. Why I go back to your question is, okay, for me, we are actually, the concept of Lombol was based on champagne and caviar, because we really like having a big knowledge about caviar. I love caviar for a long time. I've been introduced caviar 25, 30 years ago by an Iranian who teach me how to eat caviar. And I was very lucky with that. And I think I see the difference between the caviar wild, the caviar farm now. And I think we need to accept that, okay, what I hate, and this is, you just said, it's no point to add a little bit of caviar just to charge you a bit more. It is quite happening. For me, caviar is like a seasoning. Like, caviar, you have 27 species of caviar, of sturgeon. Not all of them are actually interested to harvest because you need to wait 8 to over 20 years to harvest caviar. It's very costly. So there's only 5 to 6 caviar who are really sturgeon, who are really harvest actually. And now they're creating some hybrid. So, but we need also to accept the reality of, back in the day, in my time, smoked salmon was wild and become farmed. And now you have smoked salmon in every supermarkets. And for caviar, it will come to the same. I agree with you that, okay, first of all, truffle is a very seasonal product that you only have from December to March. So yes, of course, you can have truffle teen, but I agree, and I know that unfortunately sometimes some Western are using truffle caviar to charge a bit more, or to pretend
just to make it fancy,
Yes, correct. But I think for me, the caviar in the dish has to bring something in terms of seasoning, in terms of orientation, and I think then it makes sense. Yes. To be honest, the professional who use caviar, they know what they're doing, And I think it's clear that yes. Now you can have access in everywhere with caviar, because I just want to make clear, the best caviar right now is in China, which was not the case before. The best farm are in China. I'm a French chef who is proud to say that the best sturgeon are in China. But this goes back to being a human or being a product. There's layers to everything, and caviar is one big topic which deserve a lot of layers and knowledge and understanding. And I agree with you that adding a bit of caviar on the top of the dish charge more. It's not actually the way to go. And I think it should not be happening.
Yeah. As you're a chef, I guess you have very high standards. Yep. And also, this is also a character trait.
Look how Roberto is good. You see, we talk about caviar. Look what is coming. Now you have to, try some caviar. Roberto. You see? Yeah, you see? Yeah.
Little sweetness.
Sweetness, exactly. So caviar of chocolate. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So Lombol chocolate.
Perfect. Well, I was talking about high standards.
Yep.
Here it is.
Yep.
I'm not a chef, but I also have high standards because I think it's, if you want to provide quality work, for example, the podcast, for me, it's so important to do great episodes, to prepare well and stuff. Yep. How self-critical are you?
I think I'm quite harsh with myself, and I'm not easy to work with, and I know that because my expectation is very high. But the first one who I am very hard is myself. I think it's an ongoing process, which is it's difficult to set the bar very high, because it's you don't holding all the chips. I have a very competent team around myself. I'm building it. We are still at the early stage. But for me, every single person I bring in has to really reflect what I feel. They know that they're going to be hard, but they're going to be fair. I think fairness is very important. Yeah. And I think for me, actually, I will tell you this later, but one fact happened is that 2 years ago, I switched more like a chef entrepreneur than a chef. And actually, when I read a book who strikes me very much, actually the first things I thought is that I was very hard to myself, and I had to change, and I had to make a change. And I think for me, you need to be hard with yourself, but you also need to learn how to love yourself, which is tough for me.
It's a long journey.
Exactly, but it is what it is.
What does your team say about you behind your back?
Well, I think,
what do you think they say
sure
when you're not there and they're in the kitchen?
Well, I'm sure sometimes they think I'm harsh, I'm very straightforward. I can be very harsh, but I think the older I get, I think I crossed a fine line. I did put a fine line where I can be very hard, but I want to stay respectful, and I also want them to understand that it's for their own sake, because when you are in fine dining, we're playing in the 1, 2, 3 Michelin stars level. It's the top of the food chain, And for me, the reality is the reality of the customer. There's a business reality, and there's expectation reality. If you messed up a recipe that we did together, and the customer is paying for that, it's not acceptable, because this has you breach
the reputation.
Yes,
of
it's
the
a breach of
restaurant,
trust that you are putting down.
Yeah.
And that's why I have to keep the pressure, the steam on.
Yeah.
Of course, in the casual restaurant, we have less pressure of stars, but we have still pressure of, for me, it's as hard to do casual food than fine dining. Because, you still want to strike to the same wish of surprising the customer, making the customer happy and great experience.
We talked about ego.
Yes.
I love this topic.
Yes.
I'm saying
Chef
that
has a lot of ego.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. This is a thing.
Yes. Yeah. You see
The kitchen. Yeah.
Yes.
This is a common thing and a well-known fact. And I recorded an episode with Grégoire Michaud, the founder of Bakehouse.
Yeah, correct.
And we also talked about ego and chef's ego.
Correct.
So what about, humility? My question is that I think as a business owner, I'm also talking to the entrepreneur here and not only the chef. I think you need humility. And for example, for you, going to this field that is not so, comfortable for you is something. But was there a time your ego blinded you?
Yeah, 100%. I think...
Is there like one anecdote of one time?
Okay, look, I give you 1,000 of anecdotes. I think, look, a man is an achiever, and in the progress and in the process of achieving, of course, you build your ego kicks in, right? And I think, for example, let's just use a very simple example. For a man to buy himself a good watch or a good car, it's ego related, right? Because he wants to show to himself he can buy a nice watch or a nice car. The question for me, I did that, and for example, I'm not chasing that anymore.
What cars did you buy?
Well, I love Porsche, for example. So now I'm driving a Tesla, but I love Porsche, for example. And for me, I think in my life, I had this dream of saying, look, I want to have myself a Porsche one day. And I did it. I checked the box, right? I think what will be wrong is to keep pounding and pounding to want more. And I think that's why my problem with ego. I think, I was blind 1,000 times about ego, where I want more star, you just want more, right? But I think it comes as well with maturity, where I think, I see kids now or chefs, young chefs, who are totally driven and blind by ego. But you know what? Who I am to judge them, because I was there before. And I think it's an ongoing process where, some will get it, some will never get it. At the end of the day, I love the Indian culture. And when I speak with my Indian friends, they always tell me, ego is very important because you need it. And it's something that you need to wisely use and to balance. I did achieve quite a lot for my chef life and my own person, but I have so much more to give in a different way. And I think that's why for me, my ego is still there. But I think for me, I less, and I never be, I don't need to be in the light anymore. I will be somehow, but it's not my forte or my focus anymore, actually.
Okay. Yeah. And about entrepreneurship, so as I'm an entrepreneur myself as well, it's we know it's a bumpy road, and we experience ups and downs, and it's pretty intense, and we have to manage our energy, our health, mental health, our money, our time. So there's a lot of things to manage at the same time. Also, we are very determined, but was there a time I'm sure there was a time you failed, even if I don't really like this word. I think it's a way to learn. So
failing is learning, so for me, I'm fine with that.
What did you learn from that time? And also, was there a time you wanted to stop everything and you thought, maybe what am I doing now? It's not working well.
So let me give you a short, quick, understanding of what I've been through when I open Clouds. Okay. So I'm this brat, I'm this kid who gets any star anytime I open. I get 1 star, I get 2 star, I get 3 star. And basically I have a zero, tough life, very high expectation life where I'm a big achiever in my field. And then I decide to open a restaurant. So by myself. First of all, I can very humbly say that I could not have done more mistake than you could have done when I opened. Everything was wrong, but I don't feel bad about it now, and I should not, slap myself because it's part of an entrepreneur, path where it's called the learning curve that you need to go through. And even if I will have way more knowledge back in the day, I will still have to do some mistakes. And for me, mistakes with failures are linked together, and there's nothing is wrong about it. Never ever I thought about quitting, but sometimes when business goes out of your way, is actually you don't control it anymore. For example, clients, we was quite close of the bankruptcy, to be honest, a year ago, where I put the wrong team together, I put the wrong concept. I was too complicated. I want to put too many things together. And I tell you this, when you always win, then you're facing this baby, which is like your baby. You put so much hard work on it, and then you're seeing the numbers, and you're seeing that's not going your way. I can tell you that a couple of my grades here that I have here coming from there.
It's like a school when you always have like A's, and then once you have a C, you're like, whoa.
No, and also I tell you, it can go. A business who doesn't work the way you want, it's a cancer. Because when I say it's a cancer, because it's out of your control. It doesn't go your way. You're bleeding every month, and you're seeing yourself going down. You're seeing your cash flow going down. And then if you don't strike back to quick shifts, you're gone.
So what did you change at Clarence?
Look, I think all the mistake or everything who has been done, it's my fault, and it's me. I take it on the chin myself, because I was the one who put all those people in the journey. So I will not point anyone else than me.
No, but I mean the concept.
Yes, I think when you open your first own restaurant, even though I did season with a big management like Heisen, which backed me up a lot, I think I'm very creative, and this can be a double-sword edge where you can put too many ideas together at once. And I think this was my problem, where I didn't give enough time to think about deeply of the positioning, of the location, of the space, of the size, of the efficiency that I will do totally differently. But again, as contradictive as it is, it helped me so much to evolve the last 2 years that now that we are back on track, that we're doing very well, that I put the right people, and actually that we're doing very good. I can sleep much better. If you don't cry or if you don't pain, somehow in the process, means you're not learning. Because, when you are doing your things comfortable every day, you're in your routine, means that you're doing comfortably things, And the same for me. So you go back to when you asked me, do I am hard to myself? Yes, I'm hard, because I tell you, I didn't cry, but I was really down, because it was not going the way I want. And it was horrible feeling. And that's why I switch and make the adjustment necessary to strike back. I'm very happy that my people, support me, and that my staff stay with me. But I think it's a very humbling experience that will be for me there forever. Please, pastry, sweet, come go. You have a lot to eat, guys. Huh? Make sure still more. More is more, Yes. In business, less is more. That's my amazing pastry chef.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yes. Tell me exactly.
Okay, let's try chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. Please go ahead. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I love chocolate.
I will have chocolate on my teeth on the video.
Yes, that's okay. Yeah, exactly. It's Merry Christmas time. Merry Christmas time.
Well, that's very beautiful.
Yeah.
So, last time I was scrolling on Instagram. I know it's a bad habit, but sometimes you can see great stuff on Instagram. And I saw a quote.
Yeah.
A satisfied life is better than a successful life, because our success is measured by others, but our satisfaction is measured by our own soul, mind, and heart.
Yep.
End of the quote. What I will add to that is that our satisfaction could be influenced also by our environment and not only by us.
Yep.
So would you say you have more of a satisfied life or a successful life?
For me, being a father for the second time, I'm married again, and my wife had a daughter, which is my daughter now, so I have 3 children. I tell you that I'm still struggling about the feeling about, okay, I'm born as a chef, I will die as a chef, because I love to work, And I tell you this, as much as maybe my ego, maybe because I say that I don't have anything to prove, where for myself, I think I still have a lot to prove. And I think it's just, it's part of my personality. I'm just not stopping, I'm not stopping. This is just who I am. So the difficulty is I learn in my ongoing, process of learning that, for example, my daughter is 16 now. I didn't spend much time with her. And now, for example, that I have my son, I see him walking, I see him being naughty. I spend so much time with him is that I knew that I fell with my daughter to spending more time with her because I was not there. And kids, all they ask at the beginning is they want to see father and mother.
But she's still young.
Yeah, she's still young. But I tell you that,
still...
yeah, but the pyramid, Jordan Peterson said that from 0 to 4, it's why basically all the foundation are done. And I believe in that very, very strongly. And the acquaintance is there or not. And I think for me, the connection, the trust, the confidence. And I have a little bit of conflicted relationship with my daughter.
She lives in France?
In Australia.
Australia. Okay.
So, now she's teenager, so it's normal we have a bit of conflict relationship. Hopefully it's going to get better. But what I'm saying is that I think you need to fulfill what you want to do, but you need to listen also, your family, with who is next to you. And I think for me, I put this in the equation way more than before, where before it will be 99% of work and I don't care about the rest. Now I try to find the balance, even if maybe 60, 70%. I think my family is very important, and I need to spend some time with my son and my wife. It's very important.
Do you educate your son on food and all of this your world?
Yeah. So, for example, for my daughter and for my son, I always create all the pots that you have at the beginning to eating. Because I'm a big believer that, we're trying to cure cancer, we're trying to cure so many, disease. Yeah. But actually, if you're already at the beginning putting in the processor, that's will zucchini taste zucchini, will fish taste fish. I think, for example, my daughter, as much as, we don't see each other often, the reality is that she doesn't eat junk food. She doesn't really enjoy it. I never teach her to not like junk food. I don't mind to eat junk food sometimes. But for example, she has quite a high standard about her own food because she had access very early with the palette of good ingredients. Yeah. I think French, we have a reputation for this because we have access to so many good products. And I think for me, I'm a big believer that we should do that with our kids, because a lot of kids now eating junk and a lot of sugar, a lot of horrible products. And I think this can affect their future.
Yeah. And what if your son or your daughter tell you, Dad, I want to be a chef?
Well, I mean, look, who I am to say no or to judge? I think if you ask me the question, do I want my son to be a chef? I will answer no. But
why not?
I think it's okay. I believe that I've been through a very tough time for a long, long time, and people doesn't really realize. Thank you, guys. People doesn't really realize how hard it is to be a chef. And I think I will not hope that my son goes through for what I've been through, because I want him to have a better life. I always say that you are engineer the way that you're an engineer and wired from your parents. I have a chaos wiring when I start. My father passed away very early. My mom tried to do what she can, but it was a tough childhood where I'm not sad about it. It makes me who I am now. Yeah. But somehow I want my son to choose whatever he wants. And I'll tell you this. If he wants to be a chef, I will give him all my knowledge and my supports, and doesn't matter what he does.
Yeah, and your daughter, because there are more men chefs than women. Yeah. Maybe it's even harder. Yeah,
I think it's tough. Every work or industry, it's not easy for women. But I think kitchen, especially in France, it's a rough job.
Yeah.
It's a rough job.
Yeah, it's tough.
And of course, you see mommy cooking home. That's one thing. But going in the brigade when you have 30, 50, 100 chefs who screaming to each other, 6, 17 hours a day. It's a tough one.
Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, you tried many different businesses. Of course, dining, Michelin stars, B2B businesses, joint ventures. So what's next?
I think for me, look, I'm running 5 restaurants now. So 2 in Hong Kong, 1 in Taipei, 1 in Macau, and 1 in Hangzhou next to Shanghai. I think the sequence of order will be, we will open 2 to 3 restaurants a year.
That's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot, but it's feasible. I think is the pace that I can actually provide to make a great job. I think, for example, doing 4 to 5 would be too much. I think if we dilute in terms of timing and in terms of opening, like 1 early year, 1 middle of the year, 1 at the end of the year, I think it's feasible.
And what concept? How do you decide? Okay, I'm going to do this cuisine or this concept.
Okay, so
is it based on your intuition or the market, or both?
I think for me, you need to have a vision. Early on as a young entrepreneur, someone told me, look, Olivier, if you don't have a vision, you're not going to go anywhere. So I'm doing my DNA, my branding DNA, which is coming out on December. We've been doing this with a beautiful company called The Eight, which we're going to go out in early December. Can't wait to see what is the ending product of 3 to 4 months of digging in my social media, in my life. And then they will come out with what should be my vision and then DNA branding. And the point for me is that I believe that my home is Asia, and I want to make sure that people enjoy French food in Asia. And I think it's not given yet. Yes,
this is a mission.
It's a mission for me.
Okay.
Because for me, I think I'm proud to be French. I'm proud to cook French. And I still think that French food is totally misled and misunderstood in Asia in general, or is not even accepted. Because we have this big reputation of fine dinings, expensive restaurant, but actually French can be affordable as well and very tasty without being too complicated. And if you see just those 3 criteria, it's not often made. So that's why there's still a lot to do. So
you can eat puree saucisse.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very good.
Exactly. But for example, you see, not many puree saucisses are available because, it's just not what people, it's not what French bring yet. So I think for me,
it's very tasty.
Yeah, it's very tasty. And I tell you, a lot of people will love it. For example, one thing I'm very surprised when I was in Hangzhou, people eat so much tripes, and we love tripes in France too, So you're like, wow, we're at 10,000 kilometers from each other, but we just eat the same. It's just we are scared to put those more humbling products. And that's why I think, you know what, often when I'm in taxi in Hong Kong, I talk to them, I say, hey, did you try French food? Oh, no, French food is too expensive, it's too complicated. And it makes me mad because I'm like, come on, guys, we have access to that. So if I could just open a lot of concepts in Asia who are French, humble, simple, tasty, yummy, I mean, this would be a great achievement for me. I would love it.
Can I try one sweet before the last question?
Yes, you should try maybe the cannoli.
Edible?
Yes, yes, quite.
Drums?
Yes, the drums. Exactly, please. Yeah. That's, good luck with
what
that.
Is cut?
Yeah, you should, No, wait.
Maybe
maybe this one, okay. Easier to eat. Actually, this is a classic cannoli. Don't ask me what it is because it looks like...
I want to try everything.
Yeah, exactly. You will try everything. Yes.
You're not hungry?
No. Diet starts on January. Yes. Now, that's a tough one for me because I've been doing a lot of sport for years. And when you open many restaurants, it's harder to actually find a balance between sport and work and family.
You do Muay Thai?
Yeah, I do Muay Thai. I do cardio, but right now I'm quite on the thick side. So I'm looking forward in January to lose 10 kg for sure. Yes.
Okay, so last question.
Yep. And run the list.
No, not the least. I'm talking to the entrepreneur.
Yep.
This is a question I asked all my guests.
Yep.
Is there a lesson that you learned as an entrepreneur and that you like to share with the listeners?
Failure for me, it's very badly seen. And also, it's people are scared about failing. And I was the first one who was still scared to fail. But actually, if you fail, you learn. And I go back to Elon, when he launched his third rockets back in the day, and he wants to get the subvention, to get from the NASA, the support, or he was bankrupt. 2 things amaze me about him is that every rocket he launched, he didn't make it. Everyone say he was a failure, but he see it like a learning curve. And I think for me, it's what it is. It's very important to understand that. If I would not have failed, or I didn't fail with clowns, and I strike back, but I was very close. And it will happen again that, because, the most underrated fact in any business that you can do, it's timing. Timing. You can have the best concept ever. If you open it at the wrong timing, you have everything. Execution, timing.
How do you know when it's the right time?
Well, that's the fun part of business. You never know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, tomorrow something in the world can happen that when you open, everything was right for your concepts, but the timing is wrong. So if I have to actually go back to your question, I will even talk about timing. But what the fun fact is about timing is that you don't control the timing, because you never know what's going on in the world, in your area, and if the market is ready. I've been studying a lot of business book, and timing is everything. And I think going back to failure, don't see failure like an ending. It's an ongoing process which brings you to greatness. You fail, you learn, you bounce back.
I think it's needed.
Yes, it's needed, quite. Because, someone who, if clients will be a success at the opening, and I will never fail, or I will never have any difficulty, everything will be running smooth. I will just do the same stupid mistake to open a second one until I will face difficulty. Yeah. So I'm very thankful that I had those, because I create those own issues. I create this own data that I didn't collect in the first place. No one asked me to open, no one forced me, no one put me a knife, say, hey, you have to open a restaurant right now at this area in this way, right? Yeah. So somehow I create this. So how do you adapt based on what you felt? And I think this is very important. And timing is the most important for me.
And I think to conclude, much more rewarding. Yeah. When you failed, you learned, and then you succeed.
Take this journey as a run, but when you achieve it, it's just it's amazing.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for
please. Let me give you some plates now. Yes.